me, and I had a few interactions this week with some customers, and I keep hearing the same thing, so I think it would be valuable to share some great information with you. It looks like a lot of people get their bill from Southern California Edison. They open that bill up and they just pay the dollar amount that's on there. We don't actually look through what the charges are, what we're paying for, or what's been happening with our rates over time. We know there's nothing we can really do about it, so we just pay it. Well, I think it's really important that you do know what you're paying for when you open that bill up. So if you want to go ahead and follow along with me and look through your own bill, and that might make a little bit more sense. If you open your bill up right on the first page, you'll see what you paid last month and you'll see what you paid this month. And then you'll see right in the middle of the page how many kilowatt hours you used for your home last month. A kilowatt hour is a unit of measurement of electricity over time. And so 1 kilowatt hour is the equivalent of vacuuming your floor for 1 hour. Now granted, you probably didn't vacuum your floor for 600 or 700 hours. It's probably a bunch of other things in your house that you're actually having run consistently at the same time. Well, if you look through that bill a little bit further, and you go to your third page, you're going to see the charges of what you're really paying for. Starting off with the tier rates. I think a lot of people are very familiar with the fact that we're billed on a tier system, where the more you use, the more you pay. There's a couple things about that people just don't realize. If you look at your lowest cost of power right now, it should be 19 cents. That is actually 16% higher than it was this last December. Our rates have gone up 3 times in the last 6 months with Southern California Edison, which is more and faster than we've ever seen before. What's worse is if you look at that third tier of power, that rate should be 43 cents. And that rate has gone up 25% from this last December. So we're seeing increases faster and from amounts higher than we've seen in the past. What's interesting though is how much electricity you get in each of those tiers. Your tier 1 power is a very small amount of power, and it's because it has to be a regulated rate. Your allotment of tier 3 or tier 1 power was set about 30 years ago. About 30 years ago, we didn't have TVs in every bedroom, laptops, iPads, iPhones, electric cars. If you would have asked me if my car would ever plug into a wall, I would have laughed. And now it does. So electricity usage has gone up drastically over the last 30 years. Your allowance of tier 1 though has not. And the reason for that is that they're hoping that you'll reach those higher tiers faster, because that's really where the rate changes have gone more drastically for us, as you can tell. Another thing to look at is really how you're buying electricity as a whole. Southern California Edison is considered a legal monopoly. They're governed by what's called the California Public Utilities Commission, who makes sure that they follow certain regulations, and all rate approvals go through them. For that service of maintaining the infrastructure, Southern California Edison and their investors are guaranteed a 10% profit margin. So unlike most businesses, the more they spend, the more that they make. So some of these fees that they're charging us for are the delivery of power and the generation of power. Now, starting with the generation of power, most of our power now is coming from Nevada and other states, and it's not actually generated here in California. Well, the problem with that is that the other thing that we're paying for is the delivery of power. The further that electricity travels, the more that burns off. This is called line loss. And so our electricity coming from Nevada is not all making it all the way here to California to your door. We're basically buying 2 units of electricity so that you can purchase 1. And that's how line loss is impacting us. Well, if you look at the first 2 line items of those charges, you'll see the transmission and distribution of power. That's the electricity coming from Nevada to the local substation in your city, from that substation to your front door. That is half your total bill. That would be like ordering a $20 pizza from Pizza Hut and then them charging you $20 to bring it to you. So that $40 pizza is now twice the price. You probably wouldn't do that, right? Well, that's how we buy our electricity. And that's the biggest cost, is before we've even used any electricity. Some of the other fees that we're paying for there are things like nuclear decommissioning. There was a plant in San Onofre on the way to San Diego that was poisoning the groundwater and not efficient, and it needed to be closed down immediately. Southern California Edison went to the Public Utilities Commission and was granted the ability to pass that cost of decommissioning the plant on to us, the ratepayers. So you'll see a line item there of paying that cost for the next 20 years because of a bad business decision made by Southern California Edison. That might make you think of something that you've seen in the news recently. The California wildfires that happened, legislation was passed that Southern California Edison is able to pass that cost on to the ratepayers, and you'll see that hitting your bill in probably October, November this year. That'll be another line item that's been added for the next 20 years because of a very costly expense that Southern California Edison endured. These charges and these fees are all something that really makes up your tier system and the rates that you pay. Now, one of the things that the California Public Utilities Commission has changed is starting in 2020, all ratepayers will have to start paying based off of the demand for electricity, and when demand is the highest, our rates will be the highest. If you're looking at your bill right now, you might be seeing something called TOU, or time of use rates. Those rates indicate that you'll be paying your highest rates for electricity between 4 p.m. and 9 p.m., and they'll be as high as 42 cents a kilowatt hour right now, which is insane, especially for somebody who's a lower user. Lower users might not ever see rates that high right now, and you'll be paying those rates now every day from 4 p.m. to 9 p.m. If you haven't already been switched for that, keep an eye out for it because it is coming for you very, very soon. There's also other line items and charges on your bill that might be confusing to you and really not something that you should be paying for. If you're interested in finding out about paying one cost for your electricity and buying cleaner, cheaper energy with no money out of pocket and no responsibility for it whatsoever, give us a call and let us know. We'll be happy to answer any questions that you have and really explain how there's a better way to be buying your power now. Thank you so much.